I mean, that goes without saying. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good whatever. My new Vader shirt. Yay! We're rocking. Merry Sunday. What's up? What's happening? What is shaking? Welcome to another episode of I'll give you advice that I can't seem to take myself. Yeah, that tracks, yeah. That seems about right. So what's up, y'all? Heidi, Heidi, ho! And all of that fun shit. Gemini asked the correct question. Colors are starting already, yep. Like you expected me to wait? I'm not sure where you thought you were. Apparently you've been hiding in virtual clubs for too long. You forgot how shit rolls around here. We don't wait. Fuck that. So I got a couple of questions for you. One, how you been? Tell me a story. Tell me how you been. Tell me how you been doing. Or two, tell me what actually happens when you try to go to sleep. Having a bad flare-up and a headache. Ugh. Yes, no, and maybe. You could have stopped it. Yes. I fall asleep. Well, congratulations. You got some of the rest of us beat. I sleep eventually. I poke mama. Well, I mean, thank you for not going into graphic detail. I do appreciate that. I used the training, but it did. A chronic fatigue from chronic pain helps. Yes, that's a thing. I have a strict sleep schedule, and that's a bonus. It's definitely a bonus. Am I too quiet? I seem to be a little quiet. Actually, let's bring this down just a touch. There we go. Mine go burr until brain shuts off. Get tired as fuck, go lay down. The act of getting horizontal apparently means brain go burr. There's a dirty joke in there somewhere. Laptop turned all the way up and apparently I'm quiet. Alright, bring me up a little bit there. I really need to stop fucking with these levels. Alright. That's better. Alright, sleep, what's that? Can barely hear you. Alright. Admittedly, I'm also, I guess, a little bit quiet on my end here today. I'm not sure why. Like, I mean, me. Which, we can probably fix that with a little bit of iced coffee. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, for most people, the answer is the same one as Schust. It's I get tired, I lie down, I fall asleep. I have all detectable symptoms of narcolepsy type 2. Can't stop my meds for 2 weeks to do the diagnostic sleep study, right? Take 5 milligrams melatonin at 11, then at 1 a.m., then take 5 more melatonin, Jesus Christ. Well, ain't that just a thing? And I was playing with my camera last night, so apparently I'm not quite. That's better. Ish. Yeah, good enough. I think. Just let me do a little double check here. Work, damn it. There we go. Alright, yeah, that seems to be good. Alright. today's a low volume day. I mean, Go to bed around 9, fall asleep by 10, nice. Suck at transitions, go to bed at 11, couple chapters down. That works. But I have to be up at 7:30 every morning. It's good. Man said be sleep trained. Yeah. See, I've been taking these things. Apparently I need to take them a little more regularly. Heavy on system shutdown. Interesting. We don't give kiddo meds. Yeah, 200 seizures. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Exactly. And if he's awake, it's because he can't sleep. Well, I'm going to chalk that up to no shit. I think for most people, if they're awake, it's because they can't sleep. Alright, anyway. So, unlike the I get tired, I lay down, I go sleep. Yeah. Yeah, that too. Same here. Instead of that, it's more like I get tired, I lay down, then my brain decides that now is the perfect time to think about every conversation I've had in the last 6 years and how I did not or did handle them correctly or something like that. Does this sound familiar? I try to make it by... Do you, though? Do you really? Also, have I personally assaulted anyone with that last statement? Because that might be it. Or it might be that the sheets feel wrong. Or it might be that the room's too loud. Or it's too quiet. And somehow that's worse. Or you're not even sure if you're really tired. Replaying trauma doesn't help the brain shut down. Nope. Nope, not at all. Yeah, not sure if you're even tired. You just know that it's late and you should be you should be asleep. So, I am not giving sleep hygiene tips. This is not what today's stream is. It's more like a, here's what's actually happening to your nervous system and why the standard advice doesn't touch it. Reading Wyatt's voices for me, which is good. That's why I have music or a show playing. Usually I've got music, actually. I put together... Nadia, did you try that out last night? I threw together something that I've had sitting for like a year or better. Probably a lot longer, actually. But it's... I was experimenting a while ago with putting together like sleep sounds, right? Like just kind of like sleep music to help for the ADHD brains and shit. So I put one together, and if anybody wants to try it out and get back to me, that would be great. Just give me a DM and I'll send you the link to it. I just put it up on my SoundCloud just to test. I tried it out last night. It seemed to work okay for me. So if anybody does want to try it out, just let me know. Rachel is comfortable with the brain. Yeah. You tried it out and slept fast and hard. Hey. Well, that I like. All right, cool. If anybody else wants to try it out, just let me know, and I'll be happy to use you as a guinea pig before I release it onto the world. Because I'm sure you've seen I tried a couple in the past, but I'm trying to like, I don't know, I'm trying to like narrow it down into like a quick refine and certain levels and certain whatnot for mastering in an FL. It's, yeah. Nope. Sleep is good for your mental health. That's what I hear. It's always going for a stupid walk. That is true as well. Lack of sleep can cause more PTSD nightmares. It can contribute to shit like that. Anyway, so what I did was I I took the info. Article is pinned at the top of the chat here in Twitch. That's the primary article that I'm going from. Now, I took that, I broke it into ADHD, I broke it into autism, I broke it into combining the two. I even did a little bit on my MS, and yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. Rude. Don't, no. Oh, you're talking to the bot. Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. The bot is kind of rude. Speaking of rude. Yeah, no, those are rude as fuck. That's very rude. Don't make me hop in the car and come over there right after stream. Dick. But if I don't sleep, then I don't have nightmares. That is the most flawed shit logic that I've ever heard. Because if you don't sleep, then your body will make you sleep. I've been telling you that for years. If you do not eventually sleep, your body will force you to sleep, and you may not like the time that it happens. Like, I don't know, when you're driving your car. So your logic is highly flawed. Good attempt, though. You don't sleep, you... Oh, good try, poet. A lack of sleep can cause hallucinations, yep. Which would cause nightmares while awake, yep. And they make you question your sanity, for those of us that have any left. Alright, let us begin with the ADHD piece, shall we? Because it's kind of the foundation that everything else sits on. So, how many of you know about our fucked up circadian rhythms? If you get to that point, you're already fucked yet. You miss a whole day like Saturday. That is a different thing entirely. Good attempt. I have daydreams that are pretty nightmare-like, so I don't think that's true. Well... Squirrel. That's just hanging out with Dan. Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. Yeah, yeehaw, circadian rhythm. Or barking it to me. So, you guys know that I'm awake from midnight to 4 a.m. and then went back to sleep and woke up again at 8 a.m. Yay, that sucks. Also ran out of sanity and logic a long time ago. Sounds like I'm good to go. Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, anyway. You guys know that our biological clock runs late. Like, not metaphorically, literally. Our circadian rhythm is generally a few hours behind that of a normal nervous system. What is it? I can't even pronounce that word. I know I looked it up and I pronounced it last night and I wrote it down here, but anyway, it's your brain's master clock anyway. Suprachiasmatic nucleus. There we go. We'll run with that. That's the only time I'm... Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyway. Also, y'all have a circadian rhythm? Yeah, so do you. So anyway, on average, our brain's master clock runs about 90-ish minutes behind relative to the rest of the external world. For some people, it's more. For some, it's less. Time to go make some homemade burgers and put the smoker on for supper. Excellent. We will be there about... I mean, never mind. But anyway. So on average, master clock of the brain... I need to fix this again. Because I could feel myself, I keep leaning one direction. And it's putting me off center, which in and of itself is not a big deal, except that on the vertical platform, it kind of fucks things up. Circadian rhythm marches to the beat of a very different drum. It is very true. Just around the corner, you get there slowly. Well, I mean, I drive faster than I walk, smartass. Anyway. More like a snare drum, yes. But your melatonin onset is delayed. So, which is why in a lot of cases, they will tell you take melatonin to compensate for that. Your cortisol awakening response is blunted and slowed. So your body is being asked to wake up at 7 a.m. when biology says it's only 5:30, right? Based on that 90-minute skew kind of thing. So I did an article on this last week, Nadia, or was it the week before? I don't remember. This is what happens. Anyway, I wrote an article on this last week. It cites all this shit if you're interested in reading that. Worth the read if you haven't. That's my shameless self promo. Exclamation Substack. But anyway, short version is it's documented at the gene expression level. Hello, Turtle Mama. So it's not it's not a habit. It's not a preference. It's basically it's your internal clock that is essentially living in the wrong time zone, or it feels like it's living in the wrong time zone since way before you knew you had ADHD. Was it 2 weeks ago? Thanks, Shoost. It was 2 weeks ago because I was supposed to do this stream on Wednesday. Right. That's right. Oh well. So anyway, what does this mean practically? What it means is you lie down at 11, you can't fall asleep until 2. And that's not insomnia in the traditional sense. Yes, it was last month. Thanks, Dan. You're not wrong. By the way, happy May the 4th tomorrow. Just going to put that one out there just because, I can. But anyway, you lie down at 11, you can't fall asleep until 2. Your brain is saying that it's 9, so you're not failing to fall asleep per se. You're being asked to sleep 3 hours before your biological bedtime, essentially. So the advice to just go to bed earlier, being given to a person whose brain does not experience earlier as earlier, it experiences it as not yet. So for a lot of people here, like, I don't know, all of you, just about, the ADHD clock, it's a real fucking problem. But it's not the whole story, because if you're autistic or you are both, then there's another layer sitting on top of it. And that layer's got its own complete set of shit. So does circadian rhythm play into time blindness? Time blindness can play into that. Time blindness actually can play very heavily into that, especially, and I'll touch on this later, if you have interoception issues, which, if you need a recap on what interoception is the ability to recognize things within yourself, like I'm hungry, I need to go to the bathroom, I'm feeling tired, etc., etc. It was the day you posted. It was a Saturday. Okay, so yeah, that accidentally posted too. Whoops. If I go to bed earlier, I wake up earlier. Sure, if you could fall asleep. Time, never heard of them. Exactly. But yeah, Indy, I don't know if you're not listening to what I'm saying. If you go to bed earlier, that doesn't necessarily help with the getting to sleep earlier part of it. Right? This is what the discussion is today, is talking about the science of that and why it happens the way that it does. So, I mean, I was going to use myself as a use case, but I can't even do that because I have an extra layer on top of all this. So, I have an app that fills my brain with white noise. Okay, so which is good, right? That's a good thing to have. I know a lot of people that do use stuff like that. I have to use things like music and whatnot. My favorite is when people told me to put the kids to bed later so they would sleep in. I laughed so hard. Nope, that's not how my kids work. Yeah, nope. No shit. Just like thing I was holding 30 seconds ago, I couldn't find, yeah, with a map. Or, yeah, me too, it's called Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is another one. And you know, a lot of people say that, you know, you're not supposed to use you're not supposed to have a TV in your bedroom. That's for sleep. Sometimes some of us need that noise, that audio, whatever, right? TV isn't necessarily a good thing because of blue light and all of that shit. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, like, you know, having some kind of an audio thing, which again is why I'm offering, hey, if you want to use the new sleep music thing I put together and test it out for me and let me know how it works for you, send me a DM in Discord and I'll be happy to share it with you. Worked well for me last night. Apparently Nadia liked it, so anybody else who wants to try it out, please hit me up. But yeah, so question for you then. Who has the delayed clock problem? The one where suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you're not even tired yet. Just a yes or a no. Well, I used to shower to the same playlist every day before work time. You know, that's a good idea. I mean, when I was... Oh, hang on. Does that mean when I was younger, I had to go to the bathroom? I mean, I had to wait for whatever reason that I forgot I had to pee? How about fuck that clock? Yes, but Adderall, so unsure. Not me anymore. I used to, though. Can confirm. But Schust has the added benefit of kid that worked in extenuating circumstance of child that worked him into a new routine that the autism clung on to. So we had a bunch of things contributing there. We both know I have huge delay time issues. Benefit, yeah, benefit. I know, right? I use that term loosely. Was that a lie? It is sometimes. Yeah, added benefit. Yeah, I guess I missed the air quotes on that one. But yeah, so to circle back to, who was it? It was Gemini asking about the time blindness. Circling back to it, yes, the time blindness can absolutely play into it, right? I know I'm bad for it. I've always been bad for it. You know, I get caught up in a project. I get caught up writing a chapter, writing a song, doing whatever. Caught up in a YouTube rabbit hole, right? And I'm sure many of you can attest to that as well, that you've done it yourself. You know, caught up in a virtual club. Shit like that. I can almost die 3 times. But hey, at least I could sleep now, right? Yeah. Yeah. Added benefit. Yeah. Alright, so let's go to the autism part of this, shall we? Yes, we shall. So, where did I go? 10:30 rolls around, I'm dead tired, goes to bed, second I touch the pillow, I'm awake. I hate when that happens. I absolutely hate when that happens. I feel like the MS part is just me catching up for the last 40-something years. Slips it his own half the time. 45 TikToks from Dan. Whoopsie! That's funny. All right, so the autism piece. Sleep onset requires your nervous system to do something very specific. It requires you to stop processing. The sensory input has to reduce. The cognitive activity has to slow. The arousal levels, just be nice, have to drop. Your body has to feel safe enough and settled enough to let it go, or to let go of the wakefulness. So for an autistic nervous system, Several things make that genuinely hard to do in a way that has nothing to do with a clock. Prepare for callouts. Sensory processing at night. And a V. It's a V. Kaboom, go to cop. Well, hidey ho. 56 and welcome. All right. And cookies, I guess. V is showing up with the orange creamsicle cookies. Apparently she stole them from Shoe's place and is delivering them to everybody. Excellent. I'm down for that. All right. So the sensory processing at night. The bedroom at night is actually a sensory environment. So the sheets have a texture. The pillow has a smell. The room has a temperature. The neighbor's dog barking, every 15 fucking minutes, or your own dog's barking every 15 fucking minutes, and your nervous system is still tracking all of this stuff. So, the seam on your jammies, if you wear them, that explains it right there. Too much to keep the scent. Yeah. Snoring, stuff like that. So sensory sensitivities don't just shut off at bedtime. I wish they did, but they don't. So for a lot of autistic people, they get worse because the daylight has been competing, or it has a lot of let me back that up. The daytime rather has a lot of competing input that drowns the sensitivity out. Right? The dust spot is wrong. So at night, when everything is quote-unquote quiet, the sheet texture was fine at noon, and suddenly it's like the only thing in the world that you can feel. And Princess and the Pea, except the prince is a single crumb in the entire bed. I have been having a real problem with that. Like Sabine has been fucking chewing on stuff in my bed. So I'm constantly flaking shit out of my bed all the time, and it drives me nuts. So anyway, the cruel irony is that the sensory environment modifications that you got for yourself, so weighted blankets, specific sheets, white noise, blackout curtains, you have the exact right temperature, they require knowing what your sensory needs are, which requires really good interoception, which is often the exact thing that is impaired. So for many who fall under the autistic umbrella, congratulations, we're half-ass kind of hoop there. So there's proprioception and body awareness, which proprioception, meaning the brain's map of where the body is in space, essentially. So for those of us that bang into shit all the time, hey, we have proprioception issues. The opposite of interoception. When everything seems good to people, now I have to pee. Yep. Putting my hand on my arm, breathing on my skin, air currents on bare skin, awful. Yeah, stuff like that. But anyways, some autistic people also have proprioception processing differences. So lying in the dark with no external proprioception input can feel physically unsettling in a way that's hard to describe and easy to dismiss if you're not really thinking about it. Weighted blankets help partly because it gives the nervous system that proprioceptive feedback, right? So you feel that weight on yourself, and it says, here's where your body is, here's where the edges are, things like that. But there's a transition problem. Think of it like this. Sleep is a transition. And you're transitioning from being awake to not being awake. And transitions are hard for autistic brains. And so is my med alarm. But I just took them, so I'm good. Med check. If you need, reminder. Okay, so transition's hard for autistic brains. They suck. Blizzard Fury, how's it going? Today we're talking about the science of sleep, essentially, and why we're still awake at 2, 3, 4 in the morning when we should be sleeping. Take my meds at 4 a.m. I'm in the middle of meds now. There you go. Everything turned into a shit show, and I'll talk about that in a bit here. Anyway. As I was saying, sleep is a transition. You're going from being awake to being asleep. Transitions are hard, especially for autistic brains. Shifting from wakefulness to sleep isn't just physiology, it requires disengaging from whatever you were doing, accepting the change in state, and tolerating the ambiguity in the hypnagogic phase where you're not quite awake and not quite asleep, which is what that is. No, not Walter Goggins. I get stuck during transitions, dissociate, lose time, then it's past my bedtime. Cajun tried to med check me in stream today. Motherfucker started his for the first time, and it's been something to watch. I only caught briefly when he was talking about that the other day, but I bet, since you've been around him. Yes, the Demigorgon state, that's right. The Golgothan state. That's the one. Hi. So anyway, autism, transitions, 0 out of 10. Don't recommend. And thank you for that shout out, by the way. Sounds like an actual reason I don't have enough energy to sleep. I'm more of an ace, Gorgon. I see what you did there. Been here earlier, but customers, that happens. Let me just real quick wrap this up. Speaking of transitions. Okay, yeah, so for a lot of AuDHD people, the phase can be actively uncomfortable. Partial loss of control over your own thoughts, hypnic jerks, like so, restless leg, twitches and whatnot, half-formed sensory experiences, the way your brain keeps yanking you back to being awake, shit like that. So, customer is always right, and yeah, 9 times out of 10, an asshole too. Maybe I just learned that working in clubs for 20-something years. Anywho, your nervous system is not being dramatic about sleep. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just in a body that doesn't hand wakefulness over easily, unfortunately. Sensory input stuff at bedtime. Question for you guys. What is your thing? Temperature, sounds, texture, lights, something else? What does your nervous system have opinions about when you're trying to go to sleep? Yes, that is also a full answer. The hypnic jerks make me panic. Me too. Sometimes actually, they've done that. All of the above, human skin, everything. So essentially, you're saying nothing specific, not being touched, as in which way? As in you have to be or you cannot be. It's a mystery grab bag, something different every night. Prostitution is a full line of work. It's true. Ran on a treadmill and nothing holding it there. Yep. Well, there's a giggity. We bought a PVC post bed to block the ceiling from the feel of... Sorry, I'm trying to read that and it's not... I can't be touched while I'm sleeping. Okay, gotcha. We built a PVC post bed to block the ceiling from the feel of the room for me. That sentence is not clicking for me. I'm gonna need you to elaborate. I can't wrap my head around that. It's not making sense. Mara. Howdy to you, Mara. Think tent. Okay. Built a tent over there. Okay, PVC pipes. Gotcha, okay. Leg is a gnarly scar? I bet it does. So like a princess bed. Yeah, okay. Sensory temperature, pressure, compression, bearskin against blankets. Jersey cotton sheets is a must. Microfiber blankets between the weighted blanket is also a must. Interesting. I have a hard time looking at it. I imagine. Could feel the ceiling fan, but need the wind. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm sure that even if you have something over top, that airflow can still move even if you have something over top of it, right? It's all things too loud, too quiet. Temperature cool enough to have the weight of the blanket on me. Am I comfy in my jammies? Are they too tight, too loose, too light? Yeah. So yeah, there's as pointed out, there can be a mystery grab bag of things, right? You don't know exactly what necessarily your body is going to be reacting to, in particular that night. In many cases, for me, it's usually temperature. Pain is always a factor. That's, again, extenuating circumstance. Things like that. By the way, we did just wrap up the ADHD and the autism segments. After the self-care break, we will talk about the interoception and midnight brains are going to be the next two that we cover onto. I need 66 dim red light, some sort of meditation, music, or brown noise. Ha! Sometimes it's pain for you. Yep, I get that. Didn't even factor in pain. I have to. I'm strange. Touch me is ick, but I want cuddles and sensational blankets. Don't forget the one thing nobody expects: bugs. Yeah, in the summertime. Fine, I'll leave then. Huh? Or you must have been. Oh, you must be talking to Dan. Long time no see. Yes. I forget things. But hey, how are you? Welcome to our discussion today about sleep and how it works and why it fucks with us so much. Ooh, Crazy Fish Lady on 10. That's almost a month. No, it's not. How you been? What's been going on? Just left the ER, but well, this is a strange place for you to land after just leaving the ER. Pain's another reason I also wake up multiple times because brain, yep. The only position I can fall asleep in is my shoulders flared up and I can't sleep. Yeah. I have, it's funny, I used to be a stomach sleeper for the longest time, like the vast majority of my life. And then lately now I'm like a left side sleeper. But we also found out that I have problems with my left hip. So, like, it's like, wow, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Said you're done with ADHD and I'll work on better jokes. That's fair. So I'm doing good. 9 months sober, nice. Well, that's good. Congratulations on 9 months. 9 months on your 9 months. Wow. Good God. Good grief. English, the language that we have all agreed upon, just none of us can speak it. Crazy shit. All right, the bot is pressuring me. So we are going to take a self-care break. Yes, words are hard, very much so.
I don't speak English. Fuck off.
Ain't that the truth? Yep. All right, so the bot's pressuring me. We are going to take our self-care break. So let's do that. Grab yourself a snack, grab some water, stand up, have a stretch, go to the bathroom. Do what you need to do. But we're just going to take a break for a quick moment. I might top up my iced coffee.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Un momento.
You rely on coffee, but does your coffee rely on you? At ADHD Incorporated, we've rewritten the bean, introducing Coffee.exe, the first beverage that updates itself nightly and occasionally reboots your motivation.
User detected. Launching productivity protocol.
What? Not again. Please don't.
With Coffee.exe, every sip floods your neurons with quantum caffeine, a compound so strong it briefly collapses time, like a black hole of rich, full-bodied flavor.
He's been typing for 36 hours. I don't think he has stopped to eat in days.
Ugh, no wonder it smells like piss and shame in here.
Somebody help me!
Mission complete.
That was your mission?
It's going to take a week to air out that smell.
Make it stop! I can smell words!
Coffee.exe from ADHD Incorporated for when consciousness is optional and sleep is only a suggestion.
I'm calling HR. This shit can't be legal.
ADHD Incorporated present The Adventures of ADHD Man. Hello there, citizens.
Wow, it's ADHD Man.
Ha ha ha. Yes, and I'm here to deliver your superpower.
Cool.
Amazing, what's my superpower?
Imposter syndrome.
Yay, what's that?
Ha ha ha. Well, I'm glad you asked. Imposter syndrome is that little voice in the back of your head that tells you that you're a failure. You're a fraud.
Wait a minute.
That you're never good enough.
Now, wait a minute. I thought you said this was a superpower.
Yeah, this sounds like shit.
Yeah, Susie.
Tune in next time as ADHD Man takes on the dysfunctional executive.
Has a bus smashed into your living room, taking out Grandma and her 3 cats at a family barbecue?
Been in a freak fishing accident while you trucked around and found trout?
Are you victim to a partner leaving the vibrator on all night, causing extensive dental damage to you and your 3 other house guests?
What?
I'm JP Schuster.
And I'm CB Mooster.
And we're here to fight for you.
Automotive accidents?
Medical malpractice?
Workplace injury?
Ex with a shotgun?
Call Schuster and Mooster at 1-800-LOOSTER.
The L is for lawyer.
We really need to change that.
Schuster and Mooster.
Attorneys at law.
We're just small town boys.
I'm drunk right now.
By hiring Schuster and Mooster LLC, you acknowledge that no one should act or refrain from acting based solely upon the legal advice provided by Schuster and Mooster LLC without first seeking much better qualified legal and or professional advice.
And now you know. That's right. This stream's sponsored by Schuster and Mooster, attorneys at law. Make sure you show up with coupon code FUCKSHIT and receive 10% off your free consultation. I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. Anyway, Heidi-o. Told my chat about you today, about Blizzard Fury and the lighthouse. Oh, you fucking little shit. Bad, Chris. Bad. What's the matter? Are you feeling called out already? Got the first section down, first 2 sections down. How's the call outs? How are you guys feeling so far? Progress, we've gotten better. Oh, no. Nice. If I wasn't here to give you shit, then Nadia would try. No call outs yet? Oh, that's good. Oh, about the sports ball and the deep lore around sports ball. You can see right here, I've got my Squirrel Squad and my Mighty Meerkats frosted mugs up here. The break is needed for the science call-outs. Yeah. Miss them all so good here. There you go. Glad to prepare myself over the last almost a week for the call-outs. Some of you are feeling it. Some of you not so much. That's all right. I'm dying inside. How's that different from any other day? I'm just curious. I mean, aren't we all slowly, 1 second at a time? It's true if you think about it. Don't think too hard about it though. Just don't. I read the article beforehand, so I get a pre-call out. There you go. Got to support the peeps. Talking about mental health. Yes, absolutely. By the way, can you do a shout out for MH Lighthouse? I assume to call it today because I'm pretty sure that because of the topic, or at least part of it. Because I'm pretty sure that I was the cause. Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, you guys were the ones who brought this up. So yeah, it was you and was it you and Gemini? I can't remember if it was you and Gemini. I know you were part of it. So yeah, this was a requested stream topic. And again, too, guys, if you guys want a specific topic covered, go up to the coaching channel. It's way up top in the announcements. There you go. Thanks, Jay. Oh dear. My disco set sieve brain is tired and my body is inert. That sounds like that tracks around here. Look at that, you get 2 of them. Congratulations. Yeah, if you're not following them, please start following them. We're actually coming up with a little plan where they do podcasts pretty much every Sunday. And we're kind of setting up a plan where I'm going to go and show up on their podcast. And yeah, we haven't really talked too much about it. We started and then Friday turned into a shit show. But that's a thing, so make sure you're following them. Yes, it was. All right, well, I hope you're ready for some more. Section 3, the interoception problem. Networking, making the dream work. There you go. So, this is something that doesn't really get enough airtime when it comes to the AuDHD part of the sleep information, and that's interoception. Now, admittedly, interoception does affect all of us here, pretty much. So it's your brain's ability to sense your own internal body state, hunger, thirst, temperature, pain, fatigue, things like that. Like I said earlier, it's the signal your body sends when it needs something. Here it comes, he says. In autism, interoceptive processing is often impaired. Not absent, it's just unreliable. The signal is there, but it's noisy, delayed, doesn't reach the labeling system clearly, stuff like that. What does this mean for sleep? It means you often don't know you're tired until you're way past that part, until you're way past the mark. And again, this affects ADHD as well. So, unless you have something that you are actively looking for as a trigger signal, then you may not know that you're tired, which is something that, like, I had to for many years physically exhaust myself before I got to the point where I felt like I could sleep. Someone keeps picking up the phone. Oh, my signal is being transmitted via dial-up. Gotcha. Like a toddler who just force quits into a nap. There you go. Well, it's late at the point I've been told to stop sending TikToks to Shoots and have my phone taken away. Does she really take your phone away, though? I mean, really? That's hilarious. Backs into the shrubbery. Uh-huh. Here we go. All right. Annoying mama, yes. Anyway, so as I was saying, you don't know you're tired until you're way past that mark. You know that thing where you're sitting there at 1 a.m., not particularly tired, and then suddenly it's 2 a.m., and you're absolutely destroyed. That's not just the ADHD clock being weird, that's an interoceptive signal arriving late. So, the fatigue was building the whole time. You just didn't have clean access to it because you're interoception. The flip side, you could be exhausted, properly, physiologically exhausted, and not feel tired in any way that translates actively to, I should go to bed. You might feel irritable or overwhelmed or like everything is too much, but tired? Not exactly. You feel wrong, quote unquote. One word with a C. Close. One word with a C, not an S. Here. Just like that. Yeah. But it does it work the same if the brain is exhausted but the body is still running at 100%? Well, I mean, the brain is the powerhouse of the whole problem. Right? So you can still feel physically 100% active, but if your brain is exhausted, right? That's the thing controlling the whole mechanism. So again, the standard advice of go to bed when you're tired is instruction that a lot of times doesn't quite parse with the brain. The signal isn't coming through clean enough to act on. I can't even tell whether my burnout is coming from my brain or my body. But I'm not tired, except that your brain is. How many, picture this, those are parents actually. This one's for the parents. How many times can you recall of your child, say, sitting at a table, sitting on the couch, doing whatever, and saying, but I'm not tired, but they're looking like this. I lose count. Past Google told me I'm dying. Yeah, I looked up interoception and I've got cancer. Shit. Don't go to WebMD. Mistake number 1, Dan. Check. 2 weeks left. Oh, well, that sucks. Sorry, buddy. I hate to hear that, but it's been a fun ride. All right, so when you're told go to bed when you're tired, it assumes that you can actually read your own tiredness. And for a lot of people, ADHD, autistic, AuDHD, it is a much harder ask than it sounds. Sucks for us in the 2 weeks left, or sucks for Dan? Yes. Surprise hangry, the Snickers neurodivergent story, yep. Pretty much. Holy shit, it's a Mary Gracer. Howdy, howdy. How you been? How's tings? Welcome to our discussion about sleep and why it is a garbage show sometimes. Things going well? Excellent. That's nice to hear. Excellent. Yeah, we're just having the chit chat about sleep and a bit of the quote unquote science, but well, the actual science behind it, and why the neurodivergent brains suck at it. So, speaking of which, here's my question for you guys: does the delayed tiredness signal land for you? So when you're finally tired after that, 90-minute-ish delay. I slept best after a can of Monster, yeah. We got somebody here who's saying they sleep best after Adderall. I didn't know I was exhausted until I was past it. How does that show up for you? Tired? No, I'm fine. Let me reiterate that, okay? How does that signal? How does that come through for you? I didn't know I was exhausted until well past. How does that show up for you? Well, you see. Yeah, tired? Nah, I'm fine. Some nights I go to bed at 4. Still not feeling tired. No, I should be. Delayed tired shows up with me disengaged from being awake. Or disengaging. So I'm trying to process that, and I know what you mean, but it's just the words jumbled in my head is what happened there. Super ditzy or absent-minded. Fair enough. Concentration goes to shit. Mine goes, fuck this shit. Yeah. Burning eyes, lying down, but not shutting off the lights. I fall more too. Yeah. Heavy dissociation. Yeah. Remember, no wrong answer here. I just want to know how it displays for you. Excuse me. Jay is going to love this next part. He says with a chuckle. I start to auto-close. It's starting to kick in, and if I till I drop my phone, then I'm ready. Yeah, that'll do it, yeah. Brain tells me I'm thirsty, I go get water. Lights outside are off, and I'm like, oh, look, it's late. Gave up waiting until I'm tired years ago. Now I go to sleep, when I just don't want to deal with the day anymore. I'm so bored and unfunctionable. I just want to turn myself up, turn myself off. I'm told it's time for bed. I mean, fair enough. And my thirst signals are delayed. Mine are all the time. Nadia can attest to this in the last couple of nights at the VCs, where I have said that I'm thirsty, or that I have been thirsty for like half an hour, and then continue to sit there and not do anything about it. And then it occurs to me that, like, my mouth feels really pasty. I should probably go get a drink. Speaking of which,
eat something yummy, motherfucker!
There we go. All right. Doesn't work. Watch Shoeshine ASMR. Gross. You just said ASMR and it made me twitch. Give a subtle, have you hydrated recently? And there's a few of us that do that. Remember, when I hydrate, you hydrate. So there. I sleep best during the day. When I've adjusted to my sleep schedule to then, I work seconds, stay up all night, fall asleep during sunrise, wake up, get ready for work. That's fair. It bores the hell out of me. The sound, man. I can't do the sound. Oh, Jason was on a binge where she was watching ASMR videos. Made my fucking skin crawl every time she turned one on. I do go to bed, lay down, or I want to even, I'm not tired. Even if it's just to rest my body. No sound, just a vid. Oh, okay, so you're watching the visuals of it. Okay, I could see that. Let's see what I did there. I could see that being boring. That's a very interesting one. I'd never heard of that one before. Shoeshine ASMR. Alright, cool. If that works for you, rock on. That sounded, yeah. Oh yeah, Mama would fucking hang you with your own innards. Yeah, it would not be pretty. Alright, so let's move on to the next part here. I call this the midnight brain. Okay, bring the pain. Yeah, good timing, Jay. Your granddad watches golf, works every time. Golf will do it. Also be told to try rapid blinking to tire my brain out. Okay. I can't speak to that one way or the other. Speaking to being thirsty, I should get up and get a drink. Yes, you should. Alright, the midnight brain. One thing that I think almost everyone in this room has experienced and almost nobody talks about in clinical language. Probably because not a lot of people do, I guess, know the clinical language, but think of it like this. The bedtime thought spiral. Brace yourselves. You've been moving all day. There's been stimulation, there's been input, there's been tasks, there's been people, there's been noise. Your nervous system has been engaging and has been tracking. Then you lie down, then it goes quiet. And your brain, which has been waiting all day for a gap in the stimulation to process everything, has been, it's been waiting to process all the things that it's been holding. And finally it goes, all right, now's a good time. Yeah, ain't that grand? Ain't that great? So there's a thing you said in 2019. I was waiting for that reaction. There's a thing you said in 2019 that you thought about maybe 300 times. The email that you need to send. The conversation you're having tomorrow. All 14 possible versions of how it could go. Us autistics call that scripting. The thing that might be a problem, but may not be a problem. The thing that definitely isn't a problem, but feels like a problem. Don't forget that. I know the audience I'm asking. Hold that thought. So anyway, yeah, you've got all of these things. All of these things that you've got going in your mind, and all of it in sequence at full volume start the precise moment that you were hoping to lose consciousness. This is the midnight brain spiral. For autistic brain specifically, it has an additional dimension. The processing that happens during the day often gets deferred because there's too much input to process it in real time. I have that problem. Bedtime is when the backlog tends to catch up. Every social interaction that needs to be reviewed and decoded. Every ambiguous exchange that needs to be resolved. Every emotional experience that was shelved during the day because there was no bandwidth to feel it properly at the time. Or for those of us that have alexithymia, don't understand what the fuck we were feeling. So that's shelved until we could try and process that and figure it out. So it's not anxiety exactly, though anxiety is often also there. It's how you're processing, right? So you're processing all of this shit when you lay down, your head hits the pillow. And the nervous system will not let you sleep until it's done processing, or at the minimum, until it exhausts itself trying. And all the things I was concerned about going on in the world that I cannot do anything about as one person, and what that means for my future, my children, and what my job will look like. Yeah, that sounds like something that would fit. So the midnight brain process, it's not, again, as always, it's not your brain being broken. It's backlogged. It spent all day receiving and storing all of this information, and now it wants to process it. The problem is that it chose all to do this. It chose to do all of this at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and it didn't ask your consent. So what are we saying here? The brain has a consent issue, obviously. That's one. I'm just going to catch up on a couple of things here, because I know I got cursed out once or twice. Last night, brain reminded me of the RSD panic attack from earlier in the day. Risk management, brain download. It never seems to get to REM sleep. Pair that with the revenge bedtime shit. It's a clusterfuck. That's one thing that I don't even think I added into here, is the revenge procrastination bedtime. How about this? For all the PDA people in the room, or the people that do associate with demand avoidance, and I know some of you are here. I'm not going to name names or point fingers, but I know you're here. The demand to sleep is itself part of the problem. The moment sleep becomes something that you are supposed to do, that you are expected to do, your nervous system starts resisting, which is its own specific nightmare that most sleep advice completely fucking ignores. Jay, do you not know a revenge procrastination bedtime? Especially when you're told sleeping habits are wrong. You don't know. Okay, revenge procrastination bedtime, essentially, think of it like this, is when you intentionally stay up later because you are trying to compensate in your mind. You're trying to compensate for things you didn't get a chance to get done that day. So you force yourself to stay up, you procrastinate, keep yourself up to make up for the time that you did not get to yourself, as it were, in the end. I do it a lot. Fuck off. That's it.
Get fucked.
Why do you have to be right? That is probably the best one ever, right there. Why do you have to be right? It's right up there with, why are you? You want me to sleep at 9 p.m.? Fuck you. I'm staying up till 5 a.m. Revenge body, revenge procrastination, demand avoidance. Yeah. It is a giant ass thing. So far, none of these blows are landing. I'll take your word for it. All right, so question for you then. What does your midnight brain do? What is the thing it reliably wants to revisit or process? You don't have to be specific if you don't want to be, obviously. But want to know what flavor your spiral is most commonly. What flavor of spiral do you have? And try and narrow it down to one or two. You don't need to list all of it. Past trauma and things said. Yep. Not sure that is generalized. You know, like Dan, trauma. That's a thing. Jay, I know yours. We can cover it with existence. We'll say that. So my own version. I'll even play along with you guys. It's one time at band camp. Yeah. I'll play along with you. One of my biggest ones as of late has to do with, unfortunately, and actually I'm gonna kind of tack on to Jay's. Unfortunately, is the same thing, and a lot of mine is mortality related, and I worry because of the MS, right? So a lot of mine revolves around that. Now, when it's not doing that, it's revolving over things in my personal life. And moving to the phone, you got it. I don't usually spiral. I plan on my next day. I think I've processed everything I need to. And I'm falling asleep and dreaming. I do the things and wake up and still have to do the things. I mean, that's fair, right? I mean, that could be kind of considered the spiral, as it were, right? Planning all the things out that you have to do, right? Your brain is still actively focusing on these things and trying to plot them all out. Current life's a throwback to conversation trauma, unified musical DJ theory, all that fanfic art. Nice. Nice. Now, a lot of mine revolves around my physical condition and another part of my neurological fun and such like this. Okay, so Dan, you had something. I gotta go back to this now. See if I can try and find it. Got a question for you. What is the number one thing that you find so boring to watch? Okay, so like, do you mean if I was to do this, if I was to sit and watch something in an effort to actively bore myself to sleep? Is that what you're asking? Usually it's how the fuck am I supposed to make 20 plus teenagers learn the things they need to learn, actively fight against each other, fighting against it, then fight each other. The dream life of the teacher. I have less anxiety about things if I plan them out. Yes. Well, and that, absolutely. You are a fellow autistic, are you not? I believe you are. Because if so, that tracks. That 100% tracks. Give me the fucking itinerary, is what that is to me. Right? Plan all these things out. Yes. You know very well that is very welcome in my house. So yes, you are. All right. That tracks though. I mean, you know that tracks, right? We like to have everything plotted out, ready to go. Actually, a combination of bad thoughts, living in my social isolation, having awkwardness, real imagined perceived life form. Yeah, a lot of RSD, a lot of imposter syndrome. These are things that can creep in there, right? And things that you have to work against as you're sitting there trying to go to sleep, and your brain's like, I'm just gonna be an asshole now. When it's similar, how can I help this child? What can I do differently? If you were to try what I do with the shoe thing, if I was to try and sit and watch something that was going to actively bore me to tears, or to sleep at the very least, what would I watch? I don't know if I would be able to actually watch anything, because I think I would be trying to find things. I'd be looking for patterns and things. Paint dry, there you go. Give me something. Yeah, I can. Maybe something I found soothing. And that would probably be just looking at the night sky. So maybe not in this to the same tune that you do, right? You watch it to bore yourself. I would watch it to comfort myself, I think. And so, of course, me being the giant fucking space nerd that you all know I am, I think that's what I would probably choose. Or like a slow pan through stars, and stuff like that, I think that might be something that I would pick. There's the watch your paint dry. Brain sees patterns. If it can pick them up, yeah. All right, so let's see. We got time for this here? Just checking. Yeah, we'll have time for this. All right, continuing on. So Windows 98 screensaver. Maybe not that specifically. It would have to be more detailed than just flat black and white dots. Can you see the stars where you are? Not from where I'm sitting. I would probably put on I'd have to put on a video or something. I don't watch boring to fall asleep. I watch comforting nature documentaries. Nice. Relaxing voices, quiet background music. Yeah. Interesting information. I can feel my sleep brain. I tried listening to something that was like educational or whatever, or just like basic information of, what was one that I saw? It was really weird, but I tried it. It was like the entire lore of the Mass Effect franchise, I think is what it was. It was one that I came across. And it was like set to soothing music, whatever, and a nice calm voice. I thought it was fucking strange, but I'm like, all right, I'll give this a shot. Why not? It didn't really work. It kind of kept my attention too long, so I had to switch off of it. Passive ideations, warning all of the things we used to be able to do. Thanks to chronic illness. Also slow to type. Watch your fish. That's all good. What's the matter?
I just saw something that just confused the heck out of me.
All right, cool. Outside helps. Video stars doesn't help me. Stared at. I don't know what you hit there. Under the night. I don't know what you put after stared at. It thought it was a link. I'm trying to take moon pictures makes me tired. I remember when I could sit and read a book and actually be able to keep up with it. That used to tire me out. Actually, reading tires me out. Here's an example. Actually, when I'm, if I lay in bed and I am doing a quick scan over the book I'm writing, I find that can make me tired. So that's one thing. All right, let us continue on here before I get too sidetracked. All right, segment 5. What actually could help? From the top, it's all good. That's what VODs are for, man. Okay, practical stuff. What does the research and what does the real world experience actually support? The clock is the first one. The circadian piece has actual intervention evidence. Morning bright light within 30 to 60 minutes of your required wake time advances the clock over days and weeks. So that's something that could potentially help. Consistent wake time, including weekends, is the primary circadian anchor. Low-dose melatonin taken several hours before target sleep time. And that's the thing that not a lot of people get right, is if you are taking melatonin, you don't take it at bedtime. You take it a couple hours before to help kick it into your system. Like several hours before, like 4 hours before, 3 hours before, not at bedtime. No, it's not magic. It all requires consistency. The consistency is specific. What am I trying to say here? The consistency part is specifically hard for ADHD brains, right? Trying to stay consistent while your brain is a jumbling mess. Skip melatonin, went right to zero. Cool. The fuck, Dan? Am I hurting your feelings here? Anyway, ADHD brains, not real good at sticking to stuff like that. But it means the intervention for the clock problem also requires addressing the executive function problem. These two things are not separate. Hit the words out. Thank you. I think I have delayed sleep phase syndrome. Instead of fighting it and just go with it and adjust my lifestyle to the sleep phase works best for me. And that's the thing, right? That's why a lot of us are tend to be late night workers and stuff like that, right? That's why my mom told me that since the age of 5, I was a night owl, right? So I just kind of based my life around that. I worked in bars and nightclubs for like 20 years, right? So I was working until 3, 4 in the morning kind of thing, having coffee with friends afterwards until 6 in the morning. Trazodone, 50 milligrams, not enough. 100 milligrams sleeper a day. 75 would go either way. Not reliable enough to take regularly. That's fair. Jasa has trazodone. We haven't been giving it to her, though, because she's actually been getting a lot better. So there is that. All right, next up, the sensory environment. The sensory piece is fundamentally about knowing your own profile and building an environment that matches it. So weight a blanket for proprioception if that's your thing. Specific temperatures, because that one is non-negotiable for most people. I fight with that one because I have to coordinate that with the rest of the house. And I'm sure a lot of other people might. Sound environment, white noise, brown noise, a specific show you've seen enough times that it becomes like a sonic texture in the background, that you're, rather than something your brain wants to track. That's why a lot of times I will listen to old comedians and whatnot, like that I've memorized their show years ago. You know, old George Carlin, John Panette, yeah, there's a handful. I can't think of any of them right now by name. I've been so sensitive to sound of light, especially light. Yeah, me too. Let me see. Blackout curtains or a sleep mask if light is the issue can help. Comfortable clothing without seams in the wrong places. Shit like that. These are all sensory environment issues that, you know, you can address to help. None of this is high tech. All of it requires knowing what your nervous system specifically needs, which requires some self-observation, and it can be trial and error, just like taking meds. Sheep out Didger and Dancer. What did I miss? If I remember my night meds, I can consistently get 4 hours, then I'm up for a day. Does Mom whack you? Does she rock you to sleep? Throw it in the air and catch it with my head? Yeah. That sounds about right. I used to be married to someone who demanded complete darkness and no noise to sleep. You know, I prefer lighting and sound. Started recently dating someone who is also ADHD. Had similar sleep preferences to me. That does sound nice. That sounds very nice. Kind of envious. All right, so the interoception piece. If you can't reliably read your own tiredness, external cues may become more important. A consistent pre-sleep routine that tells your nervous system it's time rather than waiting for the internal signal. A fixed wind-down window that starts before you expect to feel tired, because the signal often comes late. In some of our cases, having a little bit of a backup where somebody's like, hey, this is what time it is. Shit like that can definitely help with the interoception, because, again, that's something that I have a real problem with. The midnight brain. This one is a little bit harder. The processing that happens at bedtime is real, and in some ways the nervous system needs to do it. The question is whether you can give it a different time and place. So having a brain dump before bed, so everything that's in queue written out, not to solve, but to acknowledge and set aside. Not journaling. Just extraction. Getting it out of the buffer. If that is something that helps. So if you've got something that is on your mind that is going to sit and process for 2-3 hours, if you could jot it out real quick in note form, that could potentially help with the midnight brain problem. I had a second sleep study to narrow my CPAP settings. She had it full blast within 20 minutes. I was wide awake. I had to manually change the ramp time. Wow. Knowing your sensory needs is so important. Yes, it is. Have a dirty mind and midnight brain makes you think something else. I did touch on what I like. I call it midnight brain just because, well, not just me. I saw it addressed as midnight brain. But I get what you're going.
Emotional damage.
Anyway, I could get a small notebook to use as long as there's a fancy pen. There you go. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. But anyway, so brain dumping before bed. No form. Just get it out of the buffer. Body-based wind down rather than a cognitive wind down. So if the brain wants to process, giving it something physical to do, gentle movement, a warm shower, a specific sensory experience that your nervous system approves of, can interrupt the spiral without fighting with it. So that's something that could potentially help. For the demand avoidance angle, specifically, reframing sleep as something you're choosing rather than something that you're supposed to do. It's not a mind trick. It's addressing the actual mechanism. I'm going to lie down and see how I feel. Is functionally different than I have to go to sleep now. Even if the behavior looks identical, if you are telling yourself and convince yourself, I am choosing to go lie down, it can completely reframe how your brain takes it on. Because if it takes it that way, then the demand avoidance may not fight against it. Does that make sense? For those of you that have the demand avoidance problem here, and again, I know you're here, do you think that's something that could help you? If you just think of it in a different way. Suspicious? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? Yeah, I know, bot. It's okay. I'm almost done this section. Hopefully, those of you that suffer with the demand avoidance issue, that's one tip that can help you out. It's one that I've actively been trying to work on with myself. Also trying to break out of routine of this is the time, because that's something I fought against for years. But those two things, in my case, they are, I don't want to say polar opposites, but they fight against each other hard. So remember, you're not bad at sleep. You are a nervous system that has a specific and legitimate need that the standard device was never designed to address. That's a different problem with different solutions entirely. So, I see we have a self-care break coming up. I still have a couple more little add-ons that I want to touch on afterwards. I need to win the lottery. Yeah, me too. Me too. So, here's my question for you while we do our little self-care break. What is the thing that you know works for you, but you don't do it consistently? I'm not asking you to fix it, just name it. Because I think a lot of us know what helps and still don't fucking do it. Which is exactly what I told you at the top of the stream. Welcome to another episode of advice that I'll give you, but I won't follow myself. I guess what I've been doing, partner lives in Cali. First year and a half, I live on the West Coast line, slowly transition away from last year, function more scheduled, fits my needs. And not only there, beauty. We do that a lot. Yep, that's my question for you. So again, to recap, while we are on our self-care break, what is the thing you know that works for you, but you do not do it consistently? I'm not asking you to fix it. I just want you to name it.
After these messages,
I'm a
we'll
dick.
be right back.
I love you.
booming step, a heavy fist. The ground it shakes, the lights grow dim. You feel the weight, it's sink or swim. No time to run, no place to hide. The beast is here, your world's collide. Boss room.
Welcome to another episode of Nobody Asked, the segment where we give you information that nobody asked for.
Beavers were once the size of bears, and that's fucking terrifying.
This has been Nobody Asked.
Looking to rock out with your nuts out? Tune in to SQRL FM Squirrel Radio. All your favorite songs from every genre, but played at twice the speed. Not only quick enough to hold any squirrel's attention, but you can also listen to twice as many songs. Just from the dial like you usually do. You'll find it eventually. SQRL FM.
You drink water, but are you drinking it efficiently? At ADHD Incorporated, we've redefined hydration with Hydrator, the world's first emotionally intelligent water bottle.
It's been 7 hours since your last sip, Kyle.
What? How the fuck do you know what my name is?
Your Fitbit told me. Again.
Hydrator syncs to your wearables, phone, and inner guilt. Using our patented shame stream technology, it reminds you to hydrate through subtle humiliation.
We used to argue about water, but now Hydrator does it for us.
Dehydration detected in parental unit.
Leave me alone. Linda, shut this damn thing off already.
Hydrator. Stay wet, stay watched, stay compliant. Hydrator is not responsible for overhydration, marital disputes, or feelings of being surveilled. Information collected by Hydrator is definitely not sold to the highest bidder in this hyper-capitalist economy. No, we certainly wouldn't do that. ADHD Incorporated. Self-care, but with consequences.
Thank you for calling the ADHD hotline, sponsored by Squirrel Co., a subsidiary of ADHD Incorporated. If you're currently having a meltdown and need to scream into the void, press 0 now. Otherwise, please choose from the following options. To have someone activate your hyperfocus to start a task because your executive dysfunction has paralyzed you, please press 1. If you need reassurance because imposter syndrome is acting up and telling you you're trash and not worthy of success, love, or praise, please press 2. To gush about your latest hobby or hyperfocus because the people around you are already sick of hearing about it and you just need to show someone your hard work, please press 3. If you can't find the item you literally just had in your hand and need someone to walk you through the last hour so you can find it again, please press 4. If you can't remember why you called us but know it was important, please press 5. If you're suffering from decision paralysis and need someone to talk you through figuring out what you want to do, please press 6. If you're shopping and need someone to talk you out of buying the 4,782,746 things in your cart because buying things gives you dopamine, but you just can't afford it, please press 7. To set reminder alarms to remind you to drink your water, eat something yummy, take your meds and unclench your jaw, please press 8. If you are having a meltdown and need to scream into the void, please press 0. If you need to hear these options again, because you have ADHD and have already forgotten which option you needed, please press 9.
Hey kids, are you tired of your lame old video games?
Not really.
Is the Switch just not scratching the itch like it used to?
I mean, hyperfocus is a thing.
Is your PlayStation more of a lame station?
Dude, that was a shitty joke. Mom, Susie is using the devil words again.
Maybe it's time to try something brand new. From ADHD Incorporated Kids, it's the game of ADHD Life.
Great, another stupid board game.
In the game of ADHD Life, you get a glimpse of life with ADHD without the side effects of medication. Fun to play with the whole family.
Do we have to?
Why are there so many pieces missing?
I didn't get my school accommodations. Now I need to drop out? That's bullshit.
What the hell? My husband left me for a younger woman because I forgot our anniversary?
So, do we just go in a circle forever and never win?
This is fucking stupid. Take this game back.
The game of ADHD Life from ADHD Incorporated Kids. Also coming soon, Snakes and Adderall. Wait a minute, so you get to roll twice for 4 hours, then you go all the way back to the beginning and start over?
Who comes up with this shit?
Susie?
The final test.
Yeah, Susie. What were you thinking? Okay, so Mary Gracer, I love your answer. Just allowing myself to sleep when I'm tired instead of guilting myself for not sleeping when normal people sleep. And the fuck? Has benefited me super well. Okay. Just allowing myself to sleep when I'm tired instead of guilting myself. That's good. Okay, I don't think there's anything I'm not doing that helps me better, other than getting laid more. I mean, yep, that's a good way to tire someone out. I know I should be putting screens away an hour or two before bed, especially with migraine sensitivity, yeah. But I'm looking at something over the phone until it's time to mask up and roll over. Fair enough. Sleeping during daytime hours, yeah. Fall asleep better, faster. Or sleeping sound as a single parent. Basically no help. I can't do that consistently. That's fair. Yeah, Susie and the devil words. I really should record the next ones. I've got like 4 scripts ready. I just need to record them. Oh well. Alright, so I asked you last time, how are the call-outs now? We doing okay? Everybody doing alright? Feeling personally assaulted, anyone? And on that note, we are going to... Never. I love the use of the masking icon. Or emoji. I appreciate the middle finger, thank you. I know, I'll do it for you, okay? I know many of you want to say it to me, so I'll say it instead.
Get fucked.
Uh-huh. Alright, so this part is more specific to me, personally. This is the MS layer. So I haven't talked about this much on the stream in the context of sleep specifically. But again, as most of you know, I've got secondary progressive MS, also known as advanced stage MS. Apparently they call it that in the UK. So anyway, so it has its own fatigue profile to it. It's not tiredness in the way that most people experience it. It's a specific neurological fatigue that doesn't always respond to rest the way that you normally expect. Now, I had to do a little bit of a secondary scholar lookup for this piece, but the way that it interacts with the ADHD clock problem and the autism sensory and processing stuff, it's a giant. Think of it like you remember the original Apple headphones, right? And the little earbuds with the long ass cord, and when you put them in your pocket, somehow they turned into the giant tangled mess that you have no idea how the fuck it got there, and you spend half an hour trying to untangle it unsuccessfully. That's what this is. Some days the fatigue is so heavy that sleep should be easy, and instead it's still a fucking project. Because the sensory system is still doing its thing. Midnight brain is still running, the clock is still wrong, right? And now there's also a body that's genuinely exhausted, and a nervous system that just won't give up being awake. Now, the shit part is that in all of my searching, I could not find a clean answer. I'm still figuring it out, obviously. But I wanted to directly name it, because I know there are a lot of people, a lot of you guys in the community managing ADHD and autism alongside other chronic conditions, right? Like, I do know that, like, you know, Gemini's got, the bus has got, you know, insert, right? There are a lot of external factors here that I'm not the only one that I'm dealing with mine. You guys are also dealing with yours. So I know they don't always get acknowledged enough. So this is kind of a opportunity for me to acknowledge mine and acknowledge yours all at the same time. So you're not doing it wrong if sleep is still hard even when you're exhausted. You're trying to manage multiple systems, and they all kind of will, shall we say, have their own opinion about rest. So and honestly, this was, for the greater part, most of the shit that I had written down. Now, did you guys have any questions? Because I did see there were some. Why does that make me emotional? Why? Because I acknowledge what your nervous system is doing? It's like trying to shut down a laptop, still has programs running. Yeah, and sometimes it'll take a while. Right? The midnight brain-ish kind of thing. So yeah, regarding all of this shit, does anybody have any questions that I did not answer? Or anything that you didn't quite understand, that I explained poorly, etc., etc.? Anyone, everyone. Other than, go fuck yourself. Because, obviously. I've met me, I know how this works. Think you're good? Alright, that's good. I can give you a couple of things that I did find that may or may not help. There was a question that I saw in there in one of the articles about, does medication help with the sleep stuff? And what they said was stimulants can help during the day by reducing the cognitive load that accumulates and the need to be processed at night, but the timing matters. Stimulant medication taken too late directly suppresses sleep onset. I think you guys know that. For me, it's the, okay, now I know the why, but what more can I do to fix it? Which was the stuff that we kind of touched on just before the break, right? The practical shit. Do you think that any of that stuff would be applicable? Right? Where are we here? Low dose melatonin several hours before sleep. Morning bright light within 30 to 60 minutes of your required wake time, which can help adjust your inner clock, kind of, as it were. Your sensory environment, making adjustments to your sensory environment. With the interoception, trying to get yourself into a consistent pre-sleep routine. With the midnight brain, doing a brain dump, writing things down, just getting it out of the buffer, shit like that. I have no problem falling asleep on stimulants. I've napped in the middle of the day after taking Adderall. And again, too, that's right, Mary. You know very well that meds are going to work differently on every different person, right? So the fact that you could, and same with Gemini, the fact that you can take yours, or that Gemini can take theirs and have a power nap afterwards, fantastic, right? For a lot of us, coffee, caffeine, stuff like that is, I could drink a pot of coffee and go to bed kind of thing, right? You're still suffering the side effects, but it's the caffeine in and of itself and the effect on the brain. Half my problem is I don't have a required wake-up time, no routine. That will absolutely impact it. Absolutely. Getting yourself into one, though, should you feel the need, getting yourself into one in order to, if you want to get up earlier, then taking these things and, words are hard. Implementing these things is what I'm trying to say. And you know what? I will, just for you guys, I will pull up the article if you guys do want to look at it. Here it is. A routine would be good for me, but, well, and that's the thing is, ADHD, autism, one or the other or both, routines are good, right? Routines are a good thing. ADHD brain tends to fight against it, right? Because of the novelty, the chaos, shall we say. Not directed at our lovely librarian, but the chaos, you know, the chaotic brain versus the autistic brain, which craves more of the structure, right? For me, it's an internal fight, very much so, but I know that I need the structure, right? So I try very, very hard to rely on a routine. ADHD people, if just ADHD people, do much better on routines, even if their system fights against it, right? Because it helps kind of contain that chaotic shit show that's going on into something that can be kind of like harnessed and focused forward. I don't know if that described it very well, but I think you know where I'm going with that. Where is my post? Copy the link. All right, so this here is the actual Substack post that I wrote on this. Yeah, your ADHD isn't just keeping you up, it's running on the wrong clock. Which essentially is pretty much the same shit that I said today. It's just in the longer written out format. And also, exclamation Substack. Remember, I put these articles out like between 3 and 5 times a week, depending on my energy level. I always try to pull from the brand new peer-reviewed journals. So unless somebody asks for something specific, I'm going on brand new research. Thank you much. If you guys do, like I said, have something you want specifically, post it up in the coaching channel, and I will do my best to dig around and research that if I don't already know about it. Because I do this shit for you guys, just like today's, right? That article and this entire stream was requested, right? It was requested essentially by 2 people, by Chris and by Gemini. So yeah, if you guys have something that you want me to cover, let me know, and I will look it up and do my best to assist. That being said, going forward, I think that these streams are going to become more frequent, not just Wednesdays. So that's going to be dependent on my energy level, my ability to take the research and break it down into something that I can actually read and break down for you guys. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know about. I built an anchor routine that outlines the hour of consciousness, 0 to 12, what meals meds are taken during which block. Tries to promote a steady sleep schedule, wake time, and a skeleton to build my daily activities around, which is awesome. But how will I cope with all the call-outs?
I'm in danger.
That's how. The magic of Disney. That's right, we'll do it with the magic of Disney. Oh, by the way, hey, you guys see my new art piece? Ice cream helps with the call-out pain. I approve. My new art piece, my wife got that for me. That is a 3D printed piece of Darth Maul. Fucking swanky. So I had to put that up. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna see if I can make one of my own once I get my extruder taken apart. But what else was there? Going to the questions that I had seen about melatonin, what dose and when. Generally, it is recommended 0. And now again, always talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not a professional in that regard. I'm just telling you what I read. If you're going to do this, take it up with your own medical professional. Correct? Correct. Generally, they say a low-dose melatonin, 0.5 milligrams, taken approximately 5 to 6 hours before the targeted sleep time to advance the phase. It's generally different from taking a high dose at bedtime as a sedative. They're not the same intervention. And always talk to your GP before starting. Is it worth getting a formal sleep study? That was something that I kind of touched on, sort of. I had to get a sleep study done because they wanted to see if I had sleep apnea. It turns out I do not. But is it worth getting a formal sleep study? If there is suspicion of sleep apnea, restless leg, or other disorders, yes, these are more prevalent in ADHD and autism populations and often go undiagnosed. Sleep apnea specifically can masquerade as ADHD-related fatigue. If your sleep has been consistently poor despite addressing the circadian and sensory stuff, then in that case it would be worth investigating. Do not fall for the high dose equals better sleep with melatonin. My doctor scolded me. It's true. Shower time for the kids. I'm off. All right. Thanks for everything, Dan. Things like I fall asleep fine but wake up at 3 a.m. Is that the same problem? Not necessarily. Early morning waking can be associated with anxiety, depression, or a different circadian pattern. The delayed sleep phase problem primarily affects sleep onset. If you're waking up in the early hours rather than struggling to fall asleep, the mechanisms may be different but worth exploring separately. My kid with AuDHD has a terrible sleep. Yes, this was a question that came up. Is it the same? Many of the same mechanisms apply in children: circadian delay, sensory processing, interoception, the transition difficulty. Pediatric sleep intervention for AuDHD should account for all of those layers. Generic sleep hygiene advice often fails in this population for the same reason that it fails in adults. So that's something to think about for if you have little uns that are affected with the spicy brain, just like we are. You should take into account the same things that you would take into account for yourself. Let's see, what else did I have? How do I convince my partner that sleep stuff is real and not just me being difficult? This makes me think of what Mary was saying, actually. Bring them the circadian research. The Glavin paper, which is the one that is pinned up at the top. The Glavin paper, the Substack article, is dense, but it has a good abstract, short version. The biology is documented. The clock is measurably delayed, and it's not a choice. That tends to land better than asking them to just take your word for it. But yes, again, up at the top of the chat, it is pinned up there in Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, sorry, I don't have it there. I can post it over there if somebody wants. Actually, it's in the description in YouTube. The paper is linked in the description of the video. So there you go. And remember to, smash that like button and all of that shit if you're watching over on YouTube. Anyway, yes, it's pinned up at the top. No location but a Mac will welcome home. Yeah, the paper pinned at the top. Show them the paper. It's all documented. So yeah, there you are. So, that said, why don't we wrap up this entire discussion? You happen to stumble on any info regarding ADHD and autism causing increased difficulty adhering to CPAP compliance? I did not see that specifically, but you know what? Let me just... Fuck off. Copy. Let me just put that on my notepad here, and I will see if... There, it's on my notepad. I will see if I can find something specific to that. I did not see anything that I can think of. I didn't see anything about a CPAP. But yeah, I can take a look. Any other questions, you guys, before we wrap this up? Yeah, no worries, no worries. And again, to reiterate, you guys want me to hit a specific topic, post it up in the coaching channel for me, please. I will absolutely look. Grab yourself a kale juice, have a run around the block. It'll cure your ADHD. So many questions, none of them pertinent. Will kale juice help? Short answer, no. Long answer, fuck no. And it'll probably taste like you're licking a cabbage. So I don't know if that's your thing, good on you. Will chloroform help? Yes. Will a visit from the ether bunny help? Yes.
I have so many fucking questions.
And none of them pertinent, apparently. Have you tried essential oils? Yes. It's funny you say that. Nadia, do you happen to have a lavender scented crystal planner card? That's a thing, by the way. Just saying. I think I would rather eat the cabbage than lick it. Turn it into coleslaw. Bam! Lavender scented crystal planner. This card does nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Gotta look on Amazon for chloroform. How do you hide your search history? Asking for a friend. What timing? Perfect timing. Percussive maintenance sounds like a good option, especially for the bot. All right, quick version of what we covered. I clicked just yes. Perfect. The ADHD clock runs late. That's documented biology. That is not a preference. The autism sensory layer makes the sleep environment itself a fucking task, which doesn't turn off at bedtime. Interoception means that you don't know you're tired until you are past the time you are tired, which makes the standard advice not parse with the brain. The midnight brain is a processing backlog, not a malfunction, but it chose midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever time that was, and we need to give it somewhere else to go. So be that laying in bed processing or just jotting it out to deal with it later. If there's one thing I want you to take out the door with you tonight, this evening, is that you're not bad at sleep. You have a nervous system with specific needs that have mostly been invisible to the people giving sleep advice. So that's different, a completely different problem with totally different solutions, and I use solutions very loosely. I gave you guys the link to the article if you guys wanted to check that out. And yeah, thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. So yeah, just remember, your nervous system is not being difficult, it's being exactly what it is. The goal isn't to fight it into compliance, it's to build an environment where it can actually rest. Now, some of us have much more stacked onto the nervous system deck than others. It doesn't make any of them less valid than any of the others in comparison. So I have all of the above. Joy. Do you have joy? Do you have fun? Do you have seasons in the sun? It's summertime now. Or rather, getting there. Thought there was a smudge on my screen. Turned out... Oh, my door hook? Yeah. Who the fuck is Joy? I don't know. She's right up there with Charity. Somebody says they give their money to charity. I don't know who she is, but the bitch is rich. I do know that much. Who the fuck is Alice? Great song. Well then. If there are no other questions... Technically, Joy is my dead sister. Well, that got dark real fast.
Emotional damage.
Thank you for the info and the call-outs and the streaming. What am I? Who am I? Where am I? I'll think of any questions at 2 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep. One, I see what you did there. Two, you're probably right. This is not my beautiful house, and this is not my beautiful wife. And why is this backpack not a parachute? All right, then. Well, like I said, these are probably going to be a little bit more frequent. Again, that'll be energy dependent. Also, if you're not subscribed to my Substack, remember I put all the articles there. That is how I do my advocating now, because I don't have the energy to record a video, edit a video, put, you know, on all of this shit necessarily. So I stream it. I should be taking clips out of this, honestly. Rule 34. 1, yes. 2, not now. Dark humor, we're here for it. There was an article on that. Yes, there was. I did do an article on neurodivergence and dark humor. Yes, I fucking did. And it was a good article. I was pretty proud of that one. That one actually was a request. Speaking of which, that was a request from Jay. So there you go. Ooh, do that one again. Did I do a stream on that one or just the article? I think I did the stream on that one too, which you should be able to find on YouTube. It'll still be there if you do want to see it. Stream and the article, yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm losing track of where I'm going. I'm on the struggle bus and I can't find my brain cells. You're in the wrong house, kiddo. And it helped. I'm going to avoid dark humor from now on. Actually, I'm going to avoid humor from now on. Well, look at that. It worked. You're also going to ditch your sarcasm, are you? You stow that in the trash with it. But yeah, anyway, so the coaching streams, I'm going to be doing those more frequently. Just because you guys seem to be more receptive to them and you guys seem to like them. I need to keep my humor. It's all I have left for my coping. Me too. And again, if you want to check that article or check that stream, the VOD for that, that's a thing. That is seriously a thing. It's funny because the amount of information, because I did a deep dive on PDA, demand avoidance, whatever you want to call it. They call it demand avoidance now. But I did a deep dive on demand avoidance. And I found the amount of information that I found on demand avoidance was far eclipsed by the amount of information I found on dark humor and neurodivergence. I found a shit ton of actual scientific information on dark humor and neurodivergence. That's what the article and the stream was about. So it's still on YouTube, right? I don't know if the VOD is still up on Twitch because they take them down after 2 weeks. YouTube, I keep them there though. This humor is well-earned armor versus the world. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. So that's a thing. So again, if you have a topic you want me to cover, tell me. It's worth watching. Thank you. But yeah, tell me. Post it up in the coaching channel. If you got a specific topic you want me to cover, fucking put it there. I'll do it. Aside that, hey, if you want, great. If you can, great. If you can't, I still love you. I'm just saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, other than that, I think we're good until Wednesday. Unless you guys have anything else you want to throw out there. How does one donate? Look at that. Ask and the bot shall reply. That's how. Also, hey, if you want to be a paid subscriber on my Substack, that helps too. Just saying. You don't need to. All the information, all of the base information is always there in the articles. Anybody who's a paid subscriber gets the deeper dive on it. So like more of the scientific shit, the parenting shit, the coaching shit, all of that. And because of the way that it's laid out, all of the sources are at the bottom of the article, but I've been putting the links to the sources in the main piece because I don't want that paywall for anybody. I want everybody to have access to that, right? I don't know if that makes sense or if you understand what I'm saying. I could show you, but actually, let's do that. Give me 1 second here. I'll show you what I'm talking about real quick, because I think it's kind of important. Click. I'm just setting up my browser here. There we go. All right. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so for my articles, all of this here is, the info is all available to everybody. I started putting the sources in because as I was saying, I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom here. Okay, so the links or the actual articles that I source are down at the bottom, but they're hidden behind the paywall. I don't want that. I want you guys to be able to have that. So like all of this stuff that is available for everybody to read is all of this shit here. And then this right here is where the paywall is. And then after this is more of the science behind it. Practical, my coaching translation on it, just some points for some action points for adults and parents kind of thing, and then the citations. So like all the base information is always there for everybody. I want to make that very clear because I want that to be available for everyone. It's just after that, if I'm going to be posting up like the coaching translation, Godzilla, you know, the parenting stuff, the coaching stuff, all of that, I'm going to paywall that. So, because that's fucking work. Not giving us fish, you're teaching us how to fish. Is it like Twitch Rice? I think it's $8. I just went with the base. I've seen some where their Substack is like $25. I just went with the base, and I think it's $8, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm just trying to look here. I'm no pro at this thing. Yeah, it's 8. Okay, there you go. Yeah. That kind of thing. So yeah, hey, look at me being shitty at self-promo and trying to do it. Hey, I got my prime so you. Aw. Mwah. Much obliged. Alright, all that being said, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So, thanks all for hanging, thanks for chilling, thanks for dealing with the call-outs. How much comes out of my account? There you go. Alright, now I know. Yeah, I just went with their base. So, because I don't want to gouge you guys on everything. However, that being said, I also need to understand that if I do work, there should be a price attached to it. Me and my shitty self-promo, whatever. Alright. Until Wednesday, I hope. Once again, body willing, as always. You're worth something. And that goes for all of you. So drink your water, take your meds, be kind to yourself. Aw, you showed up right at the end. Hi, Elspeth. As I was saying, drink your water, take your meds, be kind to yourself. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and I will see you on Wednesday if I don't see you in the Discord. Until then, baby, ciao for now.